Lee House 777. This is Dr. Eros Trimigistus. On this twilight, we'll be speaking about the racism about Hercules, Krishna, Narashina Perseus, Raphael, who you are familiar with as Hercules. And that our attention is going, let's go to the YouTube, let's go to any place else, and let's look up. You see this Beowulf, a strong, pink-skinned, brave mortal, even though the true Beowulf is Elijah from the Bible. But this modern movie take a Beowulf to and strengthen a dignity in a pink-skinned mortal race. Sadly, cannot be done without taking away from brown skin, Hyperboreae. This talk, believe it or not, is about Hercules. His name is Hercules, not Heracles. That's actually the Roman, the Apollo take on it. So that already tells you what's it about from the beginning. If somebody's very dishonorable, they'll use the Roman names or Apollo, the werewolf, the dog people. So we're going to look at the Beowulf and a scene from there where this is, and mind you, although he never said that he's these things, the Ripper, Slasher, a violator, Beowulf was a very viril individual in his own right, who is a very potent, viril being. He even laid with some maidens, but I don't think a champion would be someone who lays with a bride, breaks faith, and gets another bride while the bride is still there. Most would call that dishonorable and disgraceful. But this is the scene that I want to bring to your attention. And this is where not so much the historical is pretty on the level. It's the people who don't have faith in what they're talking about. And they're going to do the same to Hercules too. But this is about Beowulf. The scene's about Beowulf and it's about Hercules. Because there was an usurpation that took place. And it's here. You see that? This is 3D animated, by the way. And this follower Callie, this maiden, is behind it.
Show yourself! What are you?
She's a snake maiden. And just one of the epic scenes. Somebody's going to write that this is cool. But if he had brown skin or reddish brown skin, bronze, he'd be considered, this is bogus, this is made up. This is not the legend of Beowulf. And sadly, in the movie, he was naked in front of a man, but he has a pants and underwear on in front of a maiden. This is Krishna's story right here.
Are you the one they call Beowulf?
See the snake body?
The Beowulf. The bear. And you are. with the strength of a king. The king you will one day become.
This is interesting because this is not Beowulf's
What do
story,
you know of me,
and
demon?
his strength was in
I
me.
know that underneath your glamour, you're as much a monster as my son, Grendel.
My glamour!
One needs
See the
a
snake,
man like
serpentine.
you could own the greatest tale ever sung. Your story would live on.
He got his pants on in
when
front of a maiden,
everything now
but
alive
he's naked
is
when he
dust.
fights a man. They're trying to make him a liker of man. This is an insult towards people like this. But
Beowulf, it has been a long time since a man has come to visit me.
I need no sword to kill you.
Of course you don't, my love. You took a son from me.
see the snake.
Give me a son, brave thing.
Now let's check out the comments on this.
Stay with me. Love me.
And this Jolie, this follower
Love
Callie,
me, and I shall weave
who despises
you
love,
riches beyond
had done this with Magnificent and d.n.a.
I shall make you the greatest king that ever lived.
By pink-skinned mortals, of course. Men who care nothing about the truth. This is praised for being an advanced animation back in 2007. Still amazing, even though this is all a lie. Stellar cast, characters, extremely underrated film. They're going to talk about anything other than the fact that this is a ripoff of. Beowulf did not experience that situation, by the way. And these are mortals, pink-skinned mortals basing stuff off of lies. Here's another one, Beowulf's general is a great battler. I do admit that his loyalty goes beyond skin. Beowulf is badass, yet contemplative, emotionally compelling. All this that we like about this movie is not based off of the legendary great Beowulf, the Bee-Man. Strangely, his name has nothing to do with wolf or a dog, but this is an insult. He was great in his own right, Elijah Beowulf, but this story was based off of HECULES. Now, we saw the image of Beowulf. Says here, it was HECULES who showed to as the ancestral champion of the Scythians. Brown-skinned people who were not from the Nubian lands. What's this say here? Well, Heracles is sleeping out in the wilderness. A two-quarters maiden, two-quarters snake, a naga creature, steals his steeds. And then Hercules, KRishna, eventually feeds the creature, but she refuses to return the steeds until he has laid with she. And this becomes the Beowulf. So this shouldn't be a big problem, except what reason was not included in the movie? What reason did they not say that they stole Krishna's story or Heracles' story? The god Raphael, by the way. What reason would they say they leave this out? Because they think people are stupid. And most likely they are, the mortals who give this movie such high praises towards lying. Like many of the other ones, which is based off of other stuff. But what reason would they leave out that this is Heracles' story? I mean, they should have called it Heracles, Krishna, Raphael, instead of calling it Beowulf's. They didn't have faith in the strength in the meat of Beowulf himself, so they had to siphon off of another and lie off of somebody else's tale. Because, as we know, Heracles, Krishna, There he is right there next to the pink skin mortal. He's this dark one that you see there. He's still, well, actually, they sit there. See the dark skin to the snow-hued again. Now, not all brown skinned people, mahogany skin, red skin, are Nubian descendants. But you need more clarification about his skin. The head of Krishna. See the cloud mane hairstyle, the brown pupils. Look at the nose. This is Krishna, Raphael, HECULES. Very dark skin, but Beowulf wasn't this dark. Here he is. Look at his hair, a cloud mane. Now, you can look this up on Google yourselves. A brown skin cloud mane individual. And this is Hercules, Krishna, Raphael, the Prince of PoweR. These are all him. And in none of these is his skin snow-hued. There's Krishna there with Kiran or Amphoros. There's Krishna again, Hercules again. A brazen skin individual. And if you want to think that this is just some art, this is Hercules. This is Krishna, Raphael. And this is left out. So get the bodies, get the qualities, but not give credit, not honor the truth. Even in the comic books, he doesn't come out like this. And this is Hercules. We want to think of him as this, a pink-skinned mortal guy. Even though Hercules, whose actual name was Emanuel, Alceus, did not look like this. And he did not look like this either. Yeah, Kevin of the House of Sword was a great actor, a great individual, but he did the story even for those who are on fandom and supposedly fans of the Xena show or the Hercules legendary journeys. He himself, those stories aren't even Hercules' stories. That's Hermes' stories, but that's later on in this segment. But Hercules didn't look like that. He didn't look like this either. But someone don't say that this is not truly racial, not lying, then they're lying by saying it. They want to think of this. Disney again had did this. A pink-skinned mortal guy with azul pupils. They keep the story kind of, but this is not even his story here. That's a Hermes story again. He's a champion in his own right, by the way, and these brothers. He was reborn as Perseus, by the way. But this is not what he's described as even looking like. This is also another lie. This is an insult to Krishna, Raphael, Hercules. Even calling him Hercules is an insult. His name means glory through opposition. His actual name was Alceus, but if anybody's caring about the truth, and this doesn't take much. It just takes no lies and being honored. If you're going to like him, then have true desire, a good desire towards what they truly are, not secretly being supremacist or trying to promote a racist idea that's based off of a lie, disguised as fantasy. These fantasies are not fantasized. Jedi was based off of the Magi in Judea or Gita, but they don't like people from Israel or Arabia in the United States. So, but they make them look like a Mark Hamilton or a Carrie of the House of Fisher with azul pupils and brown mane or fair mane, fair haired. But this is not the what Hercules is described. Alceus did not look like this. Emanuel, the Christ of earth, did not look like this. He was described as. So when Hercules, Alceus, Emanuel, Raphael encountered the Aboriginals of Australia, the Pygmies, he was described as Melapigus, or the Black Boot. Now, there's only one skin of people who have a black ass, Edibon Butox. And they're not Nubians, but for he's the son of a god. He's also called Gilgamesh in the past of an earlier birth, and then he becomes Perseus. His third birth he becomes Krishna or Hercules. And he's described as having a black ass, not snow-hued skin, but a black ass. So he's a brown-skinned individual, a mahogany-skinned individual. But in the movies, he doesn't come out like that. But he uses his legends and stories and put it as other people. This is wrong. And instead of doing honest and honor towards this, you'll get that not because of his skin, they'll say something very obscene. And so you can't trust stuff on Google because there's racism there. Instead of owning up towards that, he had Ebon. Somebody has it where you type in a question. A geek has it that you type in a question because he had a really hairy butt. So they're calling him Black Bottom because he had a hairy butt. They would call him hairy, a hairy ass. Now, what asses that you know have hair on their ass cheeks? Now, if this is true, it says that he has a really hairy butt. And this is the reason. Not because that he was black or Edibon skin. And Krishna means the dark one. But let's take a look at these images. This is all on Google. Let's see. Krishna. I don't see no hair on the ass cheeks. I don't see hair on these ass cheeks at all. On not one of these does he have hair on his ass cheeks. And on Dragon Ball Z, he's Hercule, by the way. No hair on his ass cheeks. So is his skin. But there he is, there with... what's this? Black butt, black skin, black Edibon legs, Edibon shoulders. Seeing like because he was a blackened guy. The hardships that he faced and make it to the heavens should be more of an inspiration. But in the movies in the United States, they'll show him as if he looked like the legendary bodybuilder Steve of the House of Reeves. There's Hermes, Mikhail, Thoth, Ingwe, Frey, Luke, Quetzalcoatl next to his brother, Gilgamesh, Perseus, Hercules, Krishna, Emanuel, Alceus, and Gabriel Chesed, who we call Athough KRishna. But they're not Nubian. They're not African. They're from a whole nother a realm. They're from the heavens, and they're ebon skin. They're brown skinned people, but they're not Nubian of origin. The blood of the elves of the Hodians course through them. Now on Reddit, you'll hear racial statements, even about Heimdall, but Black Bottom is Hercules. The wing shoes and the wings on the head show that that's Hermes. And these are the Aboriginals of Australia, the Pygmies. And there's Hercules there. And there's Athough. Now, she is snow-hued skin. Gabriel just said. But Hercules, the legend, the story is shown like this. But instead, they want to focus on this 2058 AD movie of this guy, this great bodybuilder who becomes the idea of the Prince of Power, or Hercules in the comics, who we see today. He's in good shape, Mr. Olympia too, and he did a great. They were playing him only because they did not allow brown skinned people to be seeing the movies like that. And is anybody bringing up that they made a bust of Kevin Sorbo that sold for like 300 spinning units, has Hercules? So that in the future, when generations will do it like the one of Nazareth or Bethlehem, they'll remember it's Kevin Sorbo, who's special in he has a special history too. They'll remember Kevin Sorbo has Hercules, and people act like that stuff about repainting messiahs and Christoses a different skin and gods, snow-hued, and it's happening right in front of them because the new movies are showing these great gods and divine beings has pink skin, snow-hued, azul pupil, yellow mane, or just brown, fair hair. Fair means brown, by the way. Between snow-hued or Wheated and Edabon, fair was brown, not yellow. And yellow in the ancient world for golden hair, they had a word towards yellow and it wasn't gold. Gold, as you know, is Edabon. Before you burn it, is Ebon. So when you hear that they were golden hair, they mean of Ebon mane. A gold ore is Edabon. And you could take Bill Nye's Science Guy, or you could go study for yourself. It didn't mean they had yellow mane when they described them, especially they're out of the sun. And if it glistened like the sun, that means that they were clean, that they weren't dirty in a world, in a realm, a society at that era where bathing was not commonality. This becomes this guy, glorious. But where's the ebb on bottom? See, the problem is if you worship a lie and you base your foundation off of a lie, then it's set to crumble and fall apart. Rather that you start with the truth. Get past the racism and the lying. This is only helping the problem become to motivate racism. Where's his ebb on bottom? Where's his brown, his mahogany skin? This is lying. If you guys are great, be great and magnificent. If anybody's going to do something, do it with the truth. Even in school, they say do not plagiarize. But these idea that they got this badass or this tough guy is not that way. And Dragon Ball Z, there's only one race on this planet who's described who has their hair stick up and were called monkeys, chongos, and who are aware for their battle prowess. So Goku is not a pink skin individual, because that race wasn't called monkeys, and their hair doesn't stick up in that cloud mane. Dragon Ball Z also is supposed to be of that kind of a darker skin, but not African United Station, not Nubian. That's a different group. But not every brown-skinned person or being is a Nubian descendant. There's two distinct groups about that. But this is outright racism, since he's supposed to be Krishna, Ebon ass, Ebon legs. He's a brown-skinned individual. And in the movies, so they're taking qualities of this guy, this Christos, Hercules, or Emanuel, Alceus, and they're going to put it off as one of their own champions with qualities and stories that aren't actual. And so when somebody does that, people will try to follow a lie, and they end up not able to be living up to it, and then they end up over their head or in a problem. where they start with the truth at the beginning. His name is Alceus, and this is on Google. Alceus. And prior he was in Greece, he comes to Egypt. He was spawned in the Sea of Thebes. Herodotus said that he was spawned in Thebes. And this is on Google, and you see somebody pet Greece. They pet 3 different countries, Thebes, Botea, Greece. And this is the same reason as the same with the dark, because he had hairy ass, instead of that he was actually just spawned a blackened, Edibon skin, a mahogany darkened skin versus being from Thebes. Because Thebes is not in Greece. Thebes was actually located in, you're going to see this is also the story of the one in Nazareth. His family fled to Thebes where he was spawned. This is the cover up over, they just said Thebes, Greece, Botea. And then they said, okay, no, he fled to Thebes in Egypt, and he was not that skin tone of a brown skinned being. But there's only one Thebes. This is Thebes. The ancients was aware of it. This is Thebes, and if he had brazen skin, black bottom, then that would fit in the image of Hercules, looking like this. There's only one group of people on this planet who looks like that. So get past the racism and let the truth be your foundation. But give honor and glory where it's due. 777 Elite House.